Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, my dear students. Today we are going to start chapter 6, Trade and Commerce. I hope you have revised and learned the previous chapters, Agriculture and Industry. Students, our today's topic of discussion is about trade, wholesaling and retailing, the selling process and office work, so that you will be able to distinguish between wholesaling and retailing, to appreciate the sport of office work, to trade and industry. Students, there are so many markets in the big cities of Pakistan. There are local markets in your locality, supermarkets and hypermarkets. So let me ask you a question. Have you ever visited a supermarket or hypermarket in your city? Like if you are living in the Rawalpindi, have you ever visited Giga Mall, Centaurus, Metro? Yes, good. Do you find any difference between a supermarket and a local market? Yes, you do. Which do you prefer? Where do you like to go for shopping? Obviously, everyone wants to go to super or hypermarket for shopping. What these markets do? Yes, your answer is right. They buy and sell different goods. Do you know what is the buying and selling goods called? Let me tell you. Buying and selling goods is called trade. So today we will talk about trade. What is trade? Buying and selling of goods. Students, not only buying and selling, but also exchanging goods and services is sometimes also known as trade. You have definitely watched an advertisement on the TV that say bring your old mattress and take the new one, or you have seen banners on the shops exchange the old refrigerator for new ones. All these offers exchange of things, so that is also trade. Similarly, we exchange the services for money. For example, we exchange the service of a doctor by paying his or her fee whenever we are ill. Similarly, we also exchange or take the service of plumber, lawyer, sweeper and so many other service workers by paying. So trade is buying and selling and sometimes exchanging goods and services. Students, if we talk about the history of trade, what do you think people used to do when they have no money? As nowadays we can buy things with cash or credit cards, but in olden time when there was no money, how did people trade? How did people get different things they want? So in olden times there was barter system. I hope you have heard about this system. It is an old method of exchange, and this system has been used for centuries and long before money was invented. And people exchanged services and goods for other services and goods in return. For example, the leg of a deer caught by a good hunter would be exchanged for a better stone axe. Similarly, if some person had milk, he could exchange it with a pair of shoes the other person did not need. So all about buying and selling and exchanging goods and services comes in trade. Range of the trade. Students, the range of the trade is very wide. They range from small traders to large supermarkets and hypermarkets. Students, let me tell you one thing. As buying and selling and exchanging goods and services is known as trade, similarly, let me tell you the meaning of the commerce. It is also the activity of buying and selling, but on a larger scale. So we can say commerce is the activity of buying and selling on a larger scale. So when we talk about the trade on a larger scale, it is known as the commerce. So let's discuss its range. The range of trade is very wide. They range from small traders to large supermarkets and hypermarkets. They all trade in goods and services. Students, there is difference between supermarket or hypermarket and the local market. Here you can see this is the picture of a super or hypermarket. They are very big stores and a wide range of goods is on offer so that everything can be bought at one place. We can get food, furniture, clothes, cosmetics, toys, everything at one place. So a wide range of good is available over there, as a large supermarket sells different commodities, so it makes tens of thousands rupees daily. It earns a lot, and similarly it is convenient to buy things from there because they usually have car parking so that goods do not have to be carried far. Similarly, the prices of the things are often cheaper because supermarkets buy things in large quantities directly from the manufacturer and so get good prices which they can pass on to customer. Similarly, there is very comfortable environment, like there is central cooling system and heating system, accelerators, and so many other things that gives or provides a very comfortable environment for shopping. But with the advantages of, there are some disadvantages, like there is lack of personal services, like the assistants are merely shelf stackers or till operatives. Till operatives means the person who are at the cash counters and they know very little about the goods they are selling. And if someone asks or inquires about an unusual item or detail of any item, they have to call the supervisor to ask. So they would not be able to tell about the qualities of any item to a customer. For example, if we ask the difference between various qualities of rice, it would be difficult for them to answer. Similarly, in super or hypermarkets, mostly common items are for sale because they aim at the middle to cheap range of the market and goods that sell in large amounts, often as the result of television advertisement. On the other hand, the local market or the small shop earns very less than the supermarket. The average daily income is probably about 2 or 3,000 rupees or less than it, but they provide personal services. They have a limited range of goods, but the shopkeeper knows everything about his product, and generally he keeps the products that are preferred by his customer that are living near his locality. So there is no large variety of things. Similarly, they have very less clients. There are no large clients, and similarly they earns very less. So this is the difference between a local market or the small shop and the supermarket. Students, as I told you that trade is about buying and selling. So when we buy and sell different things within the country, it is known as the home trade. So if you look around you and if you observe, everyone is busy in or involved or connected in trade in a way or other, as maybe they are selling something, they are buying something, and they are offering or exchanging goods or their services. So the home trade is known as can also be divided into wholesale trade and the retail trade, while if we trade with the other countries, that is known as the foreign trade, and it is further divided into import and export. And today we will talk about the home trade, wholesaling and retailing, while foreign trade will be discussed in the upcoming lesson. So let's discuss what is the difference between wholesaling and retailing. Students, a wholesaler trades in bulk. He buys products in bulk or large quantities and sell them in smaller lots to retail buyers. The things that are manufactured in factories are generally in large number, and a factory will not want to bother selling just one item to a customer, rather it sells in lots, for example about 10,000 items, 20,000 items to another merchant who is called a wholesaler. So a wholesaler keeps different kinds of goods, usually all connected with one kind of business, but he will not want to sell a single item to a customer. So he perhaps sells them in lots of maybe 50, 100, 150 to a retailer. Students, there are so many wholesale markets in every big city of Pakistan which sell different things, like there are wholesale market of cloth, fish, vegetables, fruit, stationery, grains. Can you name some of the wholesale markets in Rawalpindi? Yes, Raja Bazaar, Medina Cloth Market, Sabzi Mandi, Fish Market, Urdu Bazaar. Similarly, there are some shops in China Market who are the wholesalers. Similarly, Akbari Mandi and Shalmi Market in Lahore are very famous wholesaling markets. And all these wholesale markets deal in a variety of items from grains to vegetables and other household items and commercial items. And these markets do not sell single item to an individual customer. Retailing. A retailer serves individual customer. He buys items in lots from wholesalers and sells them to individual customer as per need. A retailer is a person who serves individual customer and is happy to sell a single item to a customer. So students, we can get a single item from a retailer shop as per our need. Let me explain you the difference between wholesaling and retailing by giving you an example of cooking pots. For example, if the factory which makes cooking pots and has probably 10,000 or more in its warehouse, it will not sell a single pot to a customer. It will sell a lot of 2,000, 3,000 or 1,000 to a merchant, that is called a wholesaler, and then this wholesaler will again not sell a single item to an individual person, rather it will sell it to a retailer in a smaller lot of perhaps 100, 20, 50 or 150, and then the retailer is the person who will sell the kitchen goods, who has the shop of selling kitchen goods, will be happy to sell a single pot to a customer. So this is how wholesaling and the retailing work. Let's see what is the selling process. Students, the selling process involves so many people, from the manufacturer to distributor to the shopkeeper and eventually the customer. The things are manufactured in the factory and then goods are sold in bulk to the wholesaler, and retailer buy their stocks from the wholesaler and the customers buy their individual product from the retailer. Students, how do you think this affect the price of the product to the person who actually buys it? Yes, you are right, of course, as everyone wants to make profit, from the manufacturer to the distributor to the shopkeeper, so they will add their share of profit, and this is all added into the price which has to be paid by the customer, who pays the price accordingly. For example, if a factory who is making cooking pot sells to a wholesaler at the price of 50 rupees per pot, so the wholesaler will have its profit, add its profit into the pot, and it will sell a dozen or 1,000 pots at the price of 60 rupees, to the retailer, and the retailer who has bought the pot at the price of 60 will sell it maybe 70 or 80 or 90. So the final price or the has to be paid by the customer. So this is how the price of the product increased. So the selling process involved manufacturing in the factory, then goods are sold in bulk to the wholesaler, and then retailer buys their stock from the wholesaler and sells it to the individuals. The office work. Student, office work is also very important in the trade. Any business has to keep inventory of the goods offered for sale. Both the manufacturer and the sale of goods need a great deal of work behind the actual making and selling. They have to keep the record of orders taken and then sent out, future orders, record of bills paid, incomes, expenditures, account of all kinds have to be kept. Goods or material in stock have to be checked and more ordered if necessary. Transport for the raw material and finished goods has to be arranged. Equipment has to be checked and new equipment has to be bought. Wages of employees have to be worked out and paid. So there are thousands of other jobs in administration that have nothing to do directly with the manufacturing or selling of goods. And all this work is performed by employees hired for this purpose. They manage the administration, which is very important in a successful business, and all this is called as office work. So students, in most manufacturing firms there are many office workers for everyone employed in making or selling. Let me give you the example of office work. If we talk about the admin office of our college, students, you know, although the college is for the teaching purpose, it provides education to the students, but all of you know that there is a lot of office work that is done by our administration. They keep the record of admissions of the students, their record of their fees, results, they send admissions, they keep updating the students file. Similarly, they keep the record of different expenditures that is done on the maintenance of college building and that is spent on the students. So all this record is similarly the record of your attendance, all this is kept by our college admin office. So that is the very good example of the office work. So office work is also very important for a successful business or for running an organization or institution. So students, that's all for today. Let's recap. What is trade? Trade is buying and selling and sometimes exchanging goods and services. Similarly, what is a wholesaler trades in bulk while retailers serve individual customers. That is the difference between wholesaling and the retailing. And the selling process involves many people, from manufacturer to the distributors to the shopkeepers and the customer. And finally, the office work is to keep the record of all the things that is necessary to maintain or to run a business and to run an organization or institution. They are very important. So there are so many office workers who perform this duty, who manage that administration. I hope you have understood the topic. So here is your home task. Read page number 54 and 55 thoroughly and write short answers of the following question in your neat copy. The question number 1 is, what is trade? Describe how a wholesale business works. And number 3, how does a retail business work? Remember, you have to give the short answer of these questions. Okay, take care. Allah Hafiz. Thank you.